Okay, I'm going to give it just a minute or so before I go live. I'm going to actually go live on Instagram real fast. I changed the time of this last minute because one, it's the internet and you can change things. And two, I have something to do at 10 a.m. Oops, got to mute myself, get a little feedback. We actually have 4 people viewing though. Let me just go live really quick on Instagram to try and nudge some people over here. For patrons, this will be totally rewatchable. And hey, everyone, just letting you know that I am going live. You can use this link. Ooh, I don't know what link to send. Anyway, okay. Hey, everyone. Hey, Veronica. Uh, this is just going to be probably a pretty quick rundown into how I take my entire year's catalog and try and get what is almost 300,000 photos. So it's 263,000 images down to 150 of my favorite photos, just 150. And what I really try and do with these end of year review posts is have at least one from every wedding and every session that I shot. I try not to leave anybody out. Sometimes things fall through the cracks if I didn't properly label stuff, but I'm going to get into labeling as far as like using flags and stars and colors and how that all works for me, because it makes assembling a end of year review post like this so much easier than having to like just go back and look through, I don't know, your social media archive or kind of eyeball it somehow. But anybody that's here on Instagram, I'm going to sign off in a second. Just use the link in my story to go watch this if you want, because I want to get it rolling. You can also go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/samheardphoto, which I absolutely hate as a handle. I'm so bummed I never was able to get I am the Sam. But I'm going to say bye to Instagram now. See ya, everyone. Bye. Thanks, everyone, for joining. I know it's early. Okay, cool. So to the 6 people that are up at 8:45 in the morning with me, I'm going to, I think, have the ability to see any questions. Let me just pull up the comment section in case there's any that surface. That's kind of the whole point of a live stream, is being able to interact with people that are watching. So if there's, here we go. Yep. Cool. We got some questions, or at least some people interacting. Hello. Awesome. I'm glad you learned a lot from me. That's great. If there's any issue with like audio or something like that pops up, feel free to let me know, but this should be pretty straightforward. Okay, so just to start, one of the huge benefits of having one catalog per year is for this reason. I can go to all photographs, which I should probably show you my screen. That'd probably be helpful. Boop. There we are. I can go to all photographs and actually, see every single image in one giant stream. So 263,104. There's actually a lot of reasons why that is super helpful. One is up here, when you're in library mode, you can go to metadata and see a pretty great breakout of every single camera you shot with, all the lenses, focal length that you shot with, aperture, flash state, on versus off. How many did I take? Let's see. All cameras did fire, so about 24,000 images with the flash on, 240,000 with the flash off. So I clearly have a bias toward not using a flash as much as possible. But there's all kinds of cool stuff you could tease out or just find quickly if you needed to, by having everything in one catalog. The next biggest benefit is if you have one catalog per year and you're really consistent with how you filter your images. I'm just checking comments. Let's see. Ooh, somebody here. Do you have a dedicated external storage for each year's catalog? We'll get to storage in a second, or probably nearer the end. If you're really consistent about how you filter things, it makes it so much easier. And for me, I use flags. If something is flagged, that means it is going to be edited and delivered in the client gallery. That is the global, this is going to be edited and delivered. I do use the X flag, and that's something where maybe I had something flagged, but I need to take that image into Photoshop or something like that and convert it from a raw file to a JPEG for whatever reason. I will make sure, because I absolutely never want that to be delivered. That is the case that I will use the X flag or the rejected flag for something, just to make sure that never ever gets sent to the client gallery. And then anything that's unflagged is just, all the spare images. I try never to delete those either. But where I really do my sorting, you can see I use color coding here. That's all from using Aftershoot for culling. They color code. I just have it, you can arrange it to do any combination of colors. I literally just have it say all the selects that are probably good, color green, everything else, no color at all. So if something is green, that means Aftershoot flagged it as I should call it in. And then if it's flagged on top of that, that means it got delivered to the client. But that's about all I use really for color coding. With stars, this is where it's super important to leave a little bit of headroom. So throughout the year, if I am going to blog something, or if something's a candidate for being blogged, it's 3-starred. After that, once I've kind of narrowed down my 3 stars, I will, for that particular post, I will sort by the 3 stars and then flag or start with 4 stars. What's going to be shared is sort of like the top images, maybe the 10 images in the carousel on Instagram, or for whatever reason, it's just a higher level photo that's a favorite of mine. So what that does is give me, at the end of the year now, I can sort by 4 stars and see the, second tier. These are really, really good, but, there's still some headroom for 1 more star, that 5-star, for the end of the year review blog post. And yeah, somebody asked the other day, how are you going to do 150 images as a blog post? Is it going to be a reel on Instagram, or is it going to be, it's a blog post. It's not 150 photos that I'm going to put in a video. Maybe I'll do a quick, eye-catching, 0.1 second per image thing for a reel, just to promote it a little bit. But the goal is to get it down to 150 images that I can use in a blog post, that I'll either, let's see here, I'll either pin that to the top of my page, or just kind of float it. Let's see if I can find last year's end of year review post. Here it is. So just looking at last year's, I tend to use a lot of the same text as well. So I don't overcomplicate it. Update this for 2023, and then it's just a straight feed of images. I don't expect most people to go through all of them. Probably if you're a photographer, you would. But one thing you can see, I'm probably not going to do this part of it today, but you can see in the arrangement, I generally group them together with similar color tones. So we're starting with like warmer reds. Did I do that with this one? Yeah, here's some more greens, transitioning to some greens, and then it's like teals and then yellows. So I try, it's never perfect, but I try and group images in their arrangement by, similar colors. The rainbow patterns here, back to yellows. I mean, there's a lot of yellows and reds in all of my work, so it makes it pretty easy. The occasional black and white, and then now we're in sort of a blue tone. If you try and look past the images themselves and just pay attention to the colors as I scroll, you'll see just a general sort of grouping of tones. And yeah, that tends to be how I like to do things, just to keep it interesting and flowing, especially since it's so many images and I'm not doing too many, side by side or vertical photos or anything like that. Here's one of just the group shots, but because I don't do that many of those, you got to keep it interesting, and just grouping those light colors, I think helps people make it feel sort of like a story, even though these images are completely unrelated one to the next, but color-wise, they all kind of tie in. All right, so let me just check comments, and then we'll jump into the actual boop. Problem with Aftershoot. A bunch of Vietnamese clients calls a huge portion of, I don't know about the Aftershoot issues with eyes closed. It typically does a pretty good job. Okay, so I've already done the work of taking a first pass at this. I got it down to 291 images. So I've already kind of 5- and 4-starred a bunch of things. Let me check my total So we've got it down to 233 actually, and I really want to get down to 150. My first pass got it down to 291. That was too many. And my plan is to now call out the ones that I don't want anymore. Let me make sure you can see everything with the thumbnail. And I'm going to have to start making some hard choices. Some photos that I really, really love, I'm going to do away with. Now, this is actually similar to how I work with choosing things for my wedding galleries as well. I do an initial pass where I call in what I think I want to be a keeper. So that's what I've done here. I've like I said, I started at 291 selected 5 stars. Then I call out, because by the end of looking through everything, a first pass of culling in, I've got a full sense of the context of everything. All these photos are more fresh in my mind. So when I take another pass now where I'm calling out, I can remember, I have a sense of how many ultra wide, huge upward shots like this I have, or how many, variety of my friend Chloe, who I photographed many times last year. Maybe I don't need this one. In fact, I know I'm going to cut that because I like the photo, but I think this one's way cooler, and I know I've got more later on. And the only reason I have a really solid sense of that is because I've already called in a first pass. So I really believe that is the best method of just call in very loosely whatever you think you're going to want to keep, whether it's for something like this or a client gallery. And then once you're probably with the client gallery doing like fine-tuned edits for any reason at all that you need, go ahead and call out based on what you have a sense of in the entire collection. So I'm going to keep this one. That's pretty cool. I love this one because it's very unique. I don't have another shot like it. This one's pretty good. And I'm, again, just trying to narrow it down to one. Ooh, this one, the editing is a little off. It's a little too pink. Let's see. Here we go. I don't have a lot of faith in how this looks through a live stream, but it was a little too like reddish orange for me. Okay, so I have 3 from this couple. I'm going to probably cut this one, even though I love it. I just know I got to be making hard cuts here. And I know I love these 2 because they're very unique locations. This one I'm going to keep because it's a completely unique perspective based, just very different from what I would normally do. I'm going to cut this just because there's no point. Got to have I'm definitely going to lean into the bride and groom or the couple's portraits for sure. But I'm going to cut this one because I like that one more. But I'm going to try and pepper in, occasional wedding party photos. Because, I don't want to only have, I like this, but I'm going to cut it. I want occasional wedding party photos just to, have something outside the realm of creative couples portraits. I hardly ever ask people to sit on the floor like this, but when I do, if the photo is something I'm proud of and I like, I usually try and kind of not offset. I like to show it just because it's a filter for personality types, I think. Even if somebody doesn't realize it about themselves, seeing someone in a wedding dress or a suit on the floor is going to be an immediate repellent for some people. And for others, just a total, I would do that. And it just can be a bit of a filter for personality types. So even though I rarely have people do it, if and when I have it, I really prioritize showing that. So that's definitely going to stay, even though it's not that crazy a composition or whatever. I'm going to cut this one. It's a nice moment, but I have another one from their wedding, which I prefer. And I'm definitely going to always, because it's me, tend to lean into the more creative photos. I'm going to cut this one. That's me in a helicopter. Let me check the comments real fast. Okay, cool. A couple of outside of the norm photos, just because these I'll probably double up and make like a little bit more of a condensed section of the blog post, because nobody needs to see a lot of my travel photos. I like this picture of Chloe, but I'm gonna cut that because it doesn't really do much. I love grain, but whenever I look at a photo later on, I generally regret adding as much grain as I did. All right. These are all good. I'm going to cut that one. There's so many from that wedding. I think I should probably cut one of these that's not super interesting. Yeah, there we go. So if I have to make a cut between something like, let's see, where was it? This photo or this photo, I'm always going to lean in toward the photo where someone is Duchenne smiling, which is what he's doing here. And that's where somebody's smiling with their mouth and with their eyes. I mean, his eyes are literally closed, but these muscles right here that contract is something that very clearly signals a genuine laugh for most people. And I'll turn on my info as well so you can see my camera settings if I ever pause on something long enough. So if I have to make a trade-off between one or the other, I typically go for the one where they're Duchenne smiling or being totally serious. All right, I like all those. I think I'm going to cut this one. Oof, between that one and this one, that's tough. I'm going to cut that one. This one's really cute. I'm going to tighten up this edit a little bit. Just go for a couple gradients over here and boop, a little warmer. Nice. Good, good, good. And then can I bring in the crop? Yeah, I think that's better. There we go. Looks good to me. And too many from this couple, so I'm going to cut one or two. Okay, we're down to 217 and a quarter of the way through, so that's good. So, okay, I'm on the fence about wedding moments. I have a lot of moments like this throughout the catalog, but I don't know that I have enough that it makes sense to add this. I'm going to keep this for now just to see, but if I don't have at least 4 or 5 more kind of random guest moments that I've already included in, I'm probably going to cut this and not bother because it's so random amidst a sea of, you know, all these other ones that it just doesn't make sense. It's good to signal that I do these, and all my clients that inquire get to review a full gallery so they know that I do these, but it doesn't make sense in the, you know, context of a blog post if it's the only one. Same with details photos and you know, other stuff. It's just a one-off. You really need a few more than just one to get the point across. All right. These are good, good. Okay. Groom portrait, bride portrait. These are all good. All right, I'm probably going to cut. I'm going to cut that one. And I'm going to cut this one so we get the reflection and the night shot. Bride and bubbles, always good. People walking down. That's actually a tattoo based on her father who passed away. His signature, or his writing, I mean. Pretty cool. Same with that deer head lapel pin. Okay. I'm probably going to cut this, but I'm going to keep it in because I like to lean a little more into night shots just because it is more unique than most photographers bother with. It's one of my favorite photos ever, and I don't even know why. I'm going to cut this because I already have one from earlier, and that is, I'm going to cut this. I love it, but it's just not quite got that next level. Then I need to cut one of these. I think I'm going to cut the portrait one because I need more ceremony. Okay, friend Chloe, all the birds. Yeah, that's, I think I'm going to cut this one. All the other ones are good. Around here is when I started using Insight, which is kind of cool. All right, I need to cut one of these. I think I'm going to cut the yellow. These two were so much fun. Actually, everyone in the UK was fun to photo. It is always fun to photograph. Okay, nice ceremony moment. Playing with dress. I'm going to cut this one. Looking back, that's a little more classic than I tend to do, but I'm going to keep it simply because it is different from even my own work. Just going to brighten it a little bit. My screen is acting weird. Okay. The framing, though, could be a little better and tighter, I think. Yeah. Let's center up that tall center tree. Is that better? Yeah, I think, ooh, I don't know. Is it? I don't mind the chair so much, but I think I'm going to crop it this way. so it's off center because my stuff tends to be very center focused. Speaking of which, back of dress, love the gesture. That's good. Little embedded humor there. Couple of family photos. I do a lot now of family sessions. I don't publicize them very much, so I do want to keep those. I'm going to cut this one, even though I really like the play between his stripes and the hey stripes and the wall behind him. I'm going to cut that one, keep that. Interesting, good. Oop, this one, the edit got weird somehow. Where did the edit get weird? Huh. There we are. Okay. This one's great. I'm just going to crop it in even more than that because they're kind of lost. And then I need to correct for that defringing. That's honestly a little extreme. Now, the defringe tool here, getting rid of that like crazy purple, sometimes it doesn't really work well. And what I'll do is just go to the color mixer saturation, and purple and magenta just desaturate completely. It worked fine in this example, but in case you're ever struggling, it's a good method of just, okay, if it's not working, get rid of all purple. This is becoming quite a common thing to see, is like a last dance where everybody's gone and it's just the couple. Okay, so I'm going to cut this. I love it, but it's just that this is a better moment, I think. Cut that. Hey, it's me. Keep that. I'm going to cut this, actually. Keep that. So here's a random ceremony moment. I'm going to cut that because I just don't have enough of other ones. Okay, one of those needs to go. I think it's going to be that one. This one I'll keep. Yeah. I keep wanting to cut ones, but I don't know which ones. Okay, these two are great. Awesome. I'm going to cut this one, this one, this one. Yeah, we'll cut all those later ones. Wedding party, stoic, cool. I'm going to cut that one. Good. Cut. Cute. Any questions as we go along? Yes. Hello, Ryan. Glad you're here. And yeah, are all these in your smart collection and you're subtracting from there? Yes. Basically, just to briefly summarize again, I sorted all images, flagged and 4-star, which I've been doing throughout the whole year to get sort of, the second tier favorites that were peppered throughout blog posts or on Instagram or something. From that stage, I 5-starred my favorites, put them all into a quick collection, just so it's easy to have them separated. And at this stage, I am going through that 5-star collection and now removing ones that, I love, but because it's too similar to other sections of the day or it's not varied enough, I'm finding any excuse that I can to remove images at this point so that everything feels very dynamic and not too samey. I'm going to cut this one. I know there's a big, beautiful waterfall there, but there's also one here, and I prefer this one a lot. Pretty sure I'm related to that bride somehow. We have the same last name. All right, I'm going to cut this. All right, I'm going to keep the dancing one because I don't think I have any really from receptions. I'm going to cut that, keep the double rainbow, cut that. This one's cool. Love the laugh and love the love. Okay, we're down to, I have to cut 40 more. This is going to be so tough. Oh no. Okay, I'm going to cut that one. Cut. Oh man. I think I'm feeling, okay, cut this. I'm feeling one too many bride solo portraits, I think. Cut that. This looks like a weird AI render. Oh my God, it really does. The reflection in the water, so funny. I'm going to cut this, even though I really like that location. Oh man. Okay, I'm going to cut that one in favor of this one. And I'm going to cut that one because I have one from this session. Whew. All right, I really need to try and cut about 30 more. So at this stage, you just do it again. I'm going to cut this one because I know I have other similar prismed shots, and this is the same couple here. I really prefer this framing, and it's just different. I think I'm going to... I can't cut that one. I'm going to cut this just because I have another ceremony with reflection shot. Now I have them... I'm going to cut this because it's not the most perfect reflection, and I have their wedding later on. Okay, I'm going to cut this one because this is the same wedding party in a much more fun and creative way. I'm going to cut that just because it's dumb. I don't know what it's doing there. This one, the same woman, much cooler. Same woman. Yeah, different woman, same shoot. All right, I'm going to have to cut one of these two. Ugh. I'm going to cut that one. I think I'm going to have to cut that one. Cut. And cut. I really could use more groom solo shots. I wish I had included a few more. Oof. All right, I'm going to keep that. It's so tough at this stage, I swear. Oh, I kind of want to cut this one. All right, if I can get it down to 170, I'm going to cut that. Oh, dear God. Cut. Cut. This is so painful. Oh. Cut. I think I need to lose one from this wedding. I want to keep ceremony just because I don't quite have enough. Oh, God. I guess I'm going to cut this one. See ya. I'm going to cut that. That's the same couple here. All right, there's too many from this workshop. I'm going to... All right, I thought there were. There's only two. I want to keep both of those. All right, I'm going to cut this one. Keep that. I'm going to cut that. Cut. 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 Ooh, this is tough. But I will say, one thing that is helping with this is the live stream component. That's one thing. If you have any friend who's a photographer, I'm going to cut this one, or anybody who's willing to look over your shoulder and watch you review your images, that third set of eyes, is that right? Second set of eyes. I used to have a name for it. I can't remember. It's called like the dual eye test or something. Double eye test. It really, really helps you be a bit more honest with yourself and not as in your own mind as you otherwise might be. Gosh, Iceland is just far too beautiful. And so, yeah, like having an audience of, I don't know how many people are watching right now, but even if it's just one extra person can be a huge benefit in, yeah, just you knowing like, that's kind of generic looking as a photo, or, you know, I know I'm going to cut this one. I know I didn't like it for whatever reason. yeah, it just for me helps surface a truth that sometimes if it's just me by myself, I think I'm going to let it slide, even though I know I really shouldn't. I'm going to, oof, I need to cut one of these. I'm going to cut that one just because it's sort of generic as a waterfall picture. This one is a little more interesting in my opinion. I'm going to cut that. Cut. Cut. Gotta have the cat. All right, feeling pretty good. We're down to 158. And that's including a lot of doubled up ones from that Hawaii trip that I'm going to like kind of cluster together. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to cut this one just because the light's not that good. I like that it's a way I photographed at this Bethesda terrace many times, and it's a new way that I had never done it before. But yeah, just going to. All right, this is feeling pretty good to me. The light on them is so good. I'm going to cut this one. I love it, but I wish that car wasn't so prominent. Okay. I think we have it. Look at how dirty my sensor is. Let me clean some of these. Boop. Boop. Down to 156. There it is. That is the year. Now, aside from what I talked about earlier, where I'll actually start to rearrange and cluster these kind of more in groups of colors, like reds, greens, blues, I will take a peek at my social media the analytics that Facebook provides and trend toward the top a mix of my personal favorites. So probably 5 of my favorites, no matter how well they did on social, and another 5 that did, measurably well based on Facebook's analytics and Instagram's analytics. And those 5 combined will be the 10 images I use in the carousel. And what I'll also probably do is make either a reel or one of the carousel components, basically a video of a quick back-to-back, probably 50 images, all as a giant slideshow, just because video does really well compared to still images. And here's where some of the marketing stuff comes into play. Let me switch back to just my face for a second. What I'm going to do with this blog post is pin it to the top of my Instagram feed for the entire year. And keep it continuously promoted after it's reached its like full lifespan of organic reach, however well it's going to do on Instagram. I will then just boost that post, pin it to the top and boost it for the entire year, $5 a day, targeting people that are engaged in the local DC, Virginia, Maryland, and New York regions. And that's it. That is my all year marketing campaign. That's all I put into as far as Instagram goes. I will do the exact same thing on my Facebook business page for $2 a day because Facebook is a little less of a priority for me. But some money spent on both platforms. And then, like I said, the blog post on my website will probably be at the top of my blog for quite a while because this is a slower season and I'm not going to have quite as many new blog posts up there for it to get buried. And, that is basically as complex as the marketing needs to go. Aside from taking some of these and maybe freshening up some of the Google review posts that I've made. And if you're on my Patreon, you can go, it's pinned to the very top of my feed. That side of my marketing campaign is basically just leaving a Google review at venues that I shot with, along with a few images. One thing you can do if you've already made a bunch of reviews and implemented that, you can go back and edit your previous review for that venue and it will surface it to the top as a more recent review. Even if you remove something, you can just get rid of one photo and it will surface it back to the top as a really fresh review, which now is the time of year I would definitely look into doing that, because people are venue shopping like crazy over the next month or so. You really should see a spike in inquiries throughout January, February. But yeah, that's all I wanted to do. We're at 35 minutes. Let me check some of these questions. Hi, Sam. Will these be for a portrait show reel too? Probably. So the question is, will these be for a portrait show reel? Meaning reels on Instagram or something like that? Yeah, they will be put into a reel in some way. Okay, the year's catalog external storage. Let's talk about that real quick. So I do have all my raw files saved to my local hard drive, but when I'm done, when they're delivered, I color the folder green and then just click and drag within Lightroom that whole folder to this, my external hard drive called the Epic RAID. And that has a folder called Delivered. So when it's on my computer, it's a folder called In Progress. And then it's sorted by the date and year. And then when I'm done, when the whole thing has been delivered, I click and drag just like this. I'll take this 1127 one, drag it to the delivered 2023. And that is now copying it off to my giant 70 terabyte external hard drive. Then what I'll do, once I'm fully done working on this catalog, is import this catalog into my master catalog, which is on one of my external hard drives. And then I'll start a new catalog for 2024. So I basically have two Lightroom catalogs at any one time. One is the current year that I'm shooting in, and the other is my Epic catalog, which has over 2 million photos. You can import and export from one catalog to the other. So all I'm going to do is take 2023, import that into the Epic catalog, and then I've got a little filter there so that all my 3+ starred images are synced to Lightroom Cloud. So I have all of these high profile, high level, good photos, always accessible in my Lightroom mobile app, basically. It's a really, really nice workflow. Hopefully that made sense. If it didn't, I have many posts on Patreon about it, explaining it in more detail, but I'll check questions before we head out here. Thanks everyone for, let's see, live chat. Thanks everyone for paying attention and being up early and watching this. And yeah, I hope it's helpful. I hope you do one, because it's sort of my main pedestal for marketing throughout every year. And it's worked so well for the last 8 years, I think, that I've been doing it. So, all right, bye everyone.